Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another Sunday night live stream. Let me make sure everything's working real quick. How is everybody? Let me pull up the comments. What is up, Nasty, Victor? I see Brian, Stevo. What's up, Adeseli? Let me make sure everything's up and running. How is everybody? All right, I think we're good. Yeah, everything seems to be working. Awesome. So, how's everybody's weekend going? How's everybody doing? What is up? I'm gonna try and keep up with the Instagram chat because there's an Instagram chat going on. I don't know if you'll see it on YouTube. This is specifically a YouTube stream, but we're trying it out on Instagram. I just want to see how it works. So this is, welcome back to another Sunday night stream. Just chilling out here, and if you have any questions, leave them in the chat. I'll kind of go through. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you guys are what you guys are doing on the weekend to kind of rest up for the week and what you got going on this week. Because man, my schedule is getting booked up. I already have calls coming in for tomorrow, and I have some other stuff that I got to get to that's scheduled. Let me pull up or try and pull up. I got so much crap open. Appreciate the new members that we got since our last live stream. So let me go through those real quick. Of course, Gary, Carnell, D Tolls, Mark Morales, B062, Darwin Hooks, True Results, Brian, Calix, Neil C. Vids, Chevy Runner, Mark Harris, and then we got Vlazer and Rage Metal Freak. I think it gives me like two different names. Oh no, Rage Metal Freak. Appreciate the new channel members that we got on the YouTube channel. I appreciate your support, and also check out the new merch. I love these shirts that we got going on now. So with that out of the way, like I said, welcome in. I'm waiting for people. I think we got a good amount now. This live stream is also brought to you by FASTSTAT. If you guys didn't know, FASTSTAT has wiring extenders. So if you guys are running thermostats that need that common, or you need an extra wire, because here everybody uses like 4 or 5 wires, and we are dealing with, common for those Wi-Fi thermostats or dual stage, 2-stage cooling, several stages that you have to deal with. So what do you call it? FASTSTAT helps you if you can't run new wiring. In my case, sometimes it goes through the kitchen, and I got to do it on time where they're not cooking or nobody's eating, because I'm going to be dropping insulation everywhere, which we can get into that kind of conversation, because I have a lot of duct issues right now, which is really annoying, because these are not actual, like, what I would consider, calls that I have to figure out. It's more like somebody didn't do a good job installing this duct, and I got to go around just putting it back together. So I do commercial. It's a lot of back and forth. So I don't like those kind of calls. Where flex duct is falling apart. The duct in the drop ceiling is falling apart, and the system's fine. It's just, whoever installed it didn't support it. There's no Pookie on anything. There's no, what do you call it, mastic. It's just hanging there in the attic, Did I get... I'm looking at the Instagram chat real quick. Did I get launched into space? What an intro. Appreciate that, Jay. Let's see. Cool intro, Joey. What is up, everybody that's joining over on Instagram? I'm trying this kind of dual stream setup right here, so kind of getting into it. What is everybody up to real quick? On the conversation of duct, here all we have is I love you, Pookie. Oh man, let me fix that. Here, everything is ductboard. So yeah, there you go. Everything is ductboard. So it's a lot of these boxes, these trunks. Sometimes we see metal. I think I just came across a metal one that was mostly all metal, but then it goes into flex duct. So a lot of issues that we're dealing with right now is these flex ducts. The the strap on them is coming off, or they're getting brittle, they're breaking, and there's no tape, there's no mastic or anything like that. So I'm going up there and I'm telling the customer, okay, your AC is working fine. It's just everything's a little high return, high pressure. You clean out the coil, everything's fine. Let's take a look in the attic. And I was telling the guys that I'm working with, the newer guys that we have coming on, um, don't always go to new system, new compressor. My pressures look weird. Don't recut or take out or add charge based on that. You got to look at airflow. I know everybody's going to start commenting airflow is king, and it's true because once I'm like, okay, the system's working on the rooftop where I normally would check, but it's uncomfortable. Let's go look at the airflow, and a bunch of, like I said, flex duct hanging out everywhere. Um, I had a return, not yesterday, on Friday. Return completely fell apart. Two other locations has a huge return box that kind of 90s into the kind of the trunk. The supply and the return on an RTU, and yeah, just sucking up all the attic air. So the return, we've had to kind of put those together. Again, nuisance calls for us because that one had to be like an overnight call basically, because we couldn't do it when they were open, because all the AC systems at all of these locations, for some reason, they are all back to back. Even if it feeds, a store that's kind of wide, they're all in the middle back to back over the registers where people order their food, and you can watch them make the food. So that right behind the register or next to it, they're making the food there. There's all this prep coolers. So, and what I found lately is in drop ceilings, I've never seen this before. They're laying like that insulation, those just stacking up insulation on the ceiling tiles, and I'm there trying to like push up and move them over, and at some point they put a bunch of insulation all over the tiles, so I can't even move the tiles that I want without making a mess, is basically my point there. Joey, replacing the cap on a fan at my house. Compressor was completely frozen from the renters running it. Interesting. Let me go through the chat real quick. But those have been my calls recently, and I have a bunch of refrigeration stuff. I got reach-ins that are acting up. I got walk-ins that are not meeting temp, and I already have a whole week ahead of me. And I just want to just want a day to myself. I got other stuff that I do, like for the business. Like tomorrow, if I have time, we need to go pick up the truck that just got wrapped. And I did record a little bit, so hopefully I can get a video out on getting it done. Brian had a weird one on Friday. Power outage took out the line side of two transformers on a train. They were explaining, we had a bunch of weird power outages in the past few weeks, last month basically, and took out a few things, and we had a few locations, and right now we're dealing with all electronic equipment, and boards acting up, ECM motors acting up, and then one of them, I want to say one of them was an exhaust, and we're just waiting for the replacement because it's under warranty. But they, from what I heard, because I thought it was done already, because that wasn't my call, but a lot of power outages. new exhaust acting up now. The motor's kind of, not working properly. And under warranty, they were supposed to replace it, but they tried giving us the wrong part. So now we got to tell the customer the right one is a little bit back ordered. So, I mean, what can you do? It's the same thing I had with the control board that I had. I posted a video yesterday about Econet, and I have to tell the customer, like, I mean, for the most part, it was working. I had to rip out the low speed for the fans because no matter what temperature I had on all my sensors, it's still. Now the tech support told me I had bad motors, and I don't know I don't know if that's going to affect it, because they did take forever to ramp up, even though I bypassed low speed, which is not a good sign. I know I had somebody comment that it could be the CFMs. I've never dealt with these ECM motors on Russell, so I have no idea if you bypass them, do they still ramp down? But that doesn't make any sense either, because there was a block of ice. I pulled the red wire, they went into full speed. I turned it off completely, defrosted all the ice, turned it back on, let it run and drop temp again. They still didn't go into high speed. Like, randomly, 5 to 10 minutes later, they did, one at a time though, which is weird. So tech support's like, you got to change out those motors. They're not acting right. But our board is still bad, because if I go to I go to the display and I kind of go through the settings, it's still calling for low speed when it's not supposed to. We are hitting 20 degrees and under, and the trigger is 35 degrees. So, technology. So I've had a lot of weird calls myself lately, some due to power outages, some due to poor quality work that is on the install side. We don't do that kind of work normally, so I don't carry around any mastic or anything like that. So probably I feel like I need to now, because I go around fixing a lot of airflow issues now. And it's usually not sealed properly. They're not using tape. They're not using mastic, stuff, or they're only using tape, and you can tell they don't use a squeegee or anything like that. Let me see. Weekend was good but short. I hear that. What's up, Jason? My AC is low on R22. Condenser fan is making a loud humming noise. It's a 94 3-ton with a 66,000 BTU furnace. Is the furnace oversized or undersized? Nasty answered over here. Sizing had to do with the space. It is conditioning, building materials, insulation, all that. I don't do residential, so that is a good question for the chat. And personally, I have issues with places being, I think there's one that I think that is undersized and oversized. There's 2 units on that. But I have issues like that too, but it's not really the sizing that I'm concerned about. It's more of the the vent placement. We got too cold of a building in the back and too warm of a building in the front. Come to find out, those you go in. I mean, I find that's why I told my guys, like, go check the drop ceiling, because I find a lot of weird things in the drop ceiling when I go in there and look, and you don't know where those vents go. So sometimes the vents are in the front, but they run to the back unit, or vice versa. And I found a lot of them were crisscross. And I'm like, well, if your back unit satisfies, your kitchen's going to get hot because they're running duct to the front. So then we have to put in sensors and different things. So I just try to mitigate the problems as best as I can, because I don't do all the sizing. uh, what was I gonna say? I don't do all the design and sizing and all that kind of stuff. I go and I'm like, okay, what's the problem? We'll try and get you going. I really try to stay out of the install um, sizing aspect of all that. I would much rather be working on walk-in boxes, rooftops, and all that kind of stuff. I hear a lot of this as well. I haven't seen enough to have have an opinion. But Brian, not a fan of the ECM motors. I don't think the manufacturers are sealing them correctly. Moisture gets into them. I think I've seen the same thing, and that is a big. I'm pretty sure they've all been freezers, um, because you got to think that they are testing them in some way. They are rated or tested, and they gotta be meant to take some abuse. You would think, but there's so many different factors. I just talked to somebody and I was like, to me, they obviously they're tested. They have to be, they're probably tested in the perfect scenario, perfect environment where the customer is not opening and closing the doors all day, right? Like you're gonna get moisture, you're gonna have doors that are warped. That's the main issue that I have right now is like a lot of doors are warped. They don't want to replace their gaskets. Handles are broken. And if you guys work in kitchens and restaurants, you might know what I'm talking about. Like these cooks, these managers, these people that work at restaurants, they really abuse the crap out of all their equipment. You go there and I don't know if it was with Cody because I recorded some episodes today, and I think it was with him. You go into I like to go into the kitchen without announcing that I'm there. I get a call, I get a email request, whatever it is. And I really like when they actually put there what unit it is, what's wrong with it, and kind of their complaint, like a nice complaint, right? And I get there, uh, someone on Instagram was like, I shit my pants the first time I licked the contactor. Try licking a capacitor. I got shocked by a capacitor a few weeks ago by accident. Like my finger grazed it. So I like when they do that and I get there and I know exactly where I'm going. If I can, especially with like some of the nuisance calls, try to get try to get in, walk to the back, walk to the kitchen, not announce myself unless I run into somebody, and just kind of observe, right? You always want to observe your surroundings. And that's all. And I think I talked to Mark about that on the other podcast that just came out. In just in general in life, be observant. But at work, it's a good skill to have too because I've caught them propping open the door for the walk-in freezer. I've caught them with the breakers off for the freezer because they don't like that it's cold in there and they're stocky and all that. I've caught them kicking doors, punching doors, slamming doors, filling up the reach-ins where they're covering the fans. I'll take a peek in there. If they leave the door open, I kind of wait there to see if anybody's going to close it. I kind of just wait a little bit. And you see a lot of what happens when you're not there. Because what happens when you're called out? And residential guys will know this as like, oh, we always change our filter, and you see a brand new filter when you get out there because they just changed it, right? You see the same thing in commercial. You get there and they act or they behave. They don't do anything in front of you. They don't kick the door. They don't leave it open. So I like to get there and not really say or announce that I'm there, so I can actually see what's going on. Because sometimes you'll catch the door open, or something like that, and you're like, that's what it is. And these ECM motors, I don't think they can take that kind of abuse where there's constant moisture or icing up issues. We've had boards that don't send the right signal sometimes, and it causes an ice over, and it'll ice over the board. And they're supposed to be coated, right? So I'm actually, someone had asked me about that in that video about coating them. And I was like, they're supposed to be coated, but there is a company, and I kind of want to get their product because they have I saw them at AHR. AC Products USA, I think is what the company might be, and then they have like different lineups. They have they have a clear coating that they advertise also for like anybody that works by the beach, because you know all the corrosion that we get. So they coat like mini splits and all that and show you the difference. But he specifically, and I only mention that company because he specifically makes that product, that clear coating, for PCB boards. Like they're meant for electronics. And he told me that he uses some special formula, some special whatever, like, and I want to say it's something with Spectraline that he had to talk to get it the way he needs it to be, because like it works under some sort of UV light as well. So I just thought it was really interesting, and I kind of want to get that product and kind of maybe coat things myself, just as because I just put in a board that was defective too, and I'm so annoyed with that. But um, what was I gonna say? Like maybe I can coat them myself and just not worry about it, or coating like you guys that do residential, you might have to coat these so you can avoid those lizards that get in there and kind of cause a short and stuff. So it all depends. It's just, you know, the equipment that we see now and kind of how you get to it. Jason, the ECM fan motors can be problematic on certain brands. I concur. Yeah, nasty freezer. Oh, you finally changed your name back. Weren't you Joe or something before, Pat? Freezer motors go through a hell of a time. They are working in -10. They are defrosting into the 50s. And when you have an ECM motor that is sealed really good, the moisture has nowhere to go. Yeah. And that's my whole thing. Like, which is why, like, that's always my concern, the temperature swing. And I press fittings in my walk-in boxes. So that was one of my concerns when I talked to RLS. Yeah, Joe, Joe's twin brother. Um, is like, you know, freezers for that reason, you know, well, I have an issue with the press fittings, and they told me no, they're tested. So I have put them in freezers with good luck. But like I said, nothing, I don't know. There's a lot of concern in freezers because because anything in there goes through a lot. That's why, and we have places that hold, not only in freezers but in walk-in coolers. They hold onions and tomatoes, and a lot of acidity is in the air recirculating. So those go through hell too because of the just the product that they carry. So we have to keep that in mind. You know, I work in a lot of pizza places, different brands, different franchises, and that's one of the things that I look at. I'm like, okay, is it the veggie cooler? And we have other places that have like a specific veggie cooler. You go in there, more times than not, that coil is going to be super rusted out. The fins are going to be brittle. So you just got to take care of it and kind of be careful with that. Some of our chillers have ECM condenser fan motors. Luckily, they seem to be pretty reliable. Changed a few, but mostly trouble free. Well, that's awesome. Like, I'm not saying they all suck either, because I had a whole bunch of issues with Intelligen, you know, the Heatcraft brand. And once we changed out the boards that we were having issues with, I have not had any other issues with them. Like once we got the new boards in those, you know, handful that we were having some weird issues with, they've been fine. Now they work fine. They work great. I don't think I've been called back for anything on the electronic side. So I don't know. Sometimes, sometimes you have weird issues with that stuff. Let's see. Why do you work on package units with electric heat in it? So around here, nobody has, which is weird because I don't know if it's a price thing or what, but I work in restaurants and they have gas for their cooking equipment. All the gas has been disconnected on the roof. So everything is electrical heat or no heat at all. So I can't speak on, because in my area nobody really runs the heat unless it's like the week that it gets very cold, which is random. Sometimes we don't have cold weather. November, December, even January, we might not even get cold weather to where you need to run the heat. So like I don't think they really care around here. So it's just not an area that needs heating. Like we have cooling, which is why, here it's such a good business. We have no cool calls 90% of the year. Like in November, December, January, I'm still running no cool calls because it'll get stuffy, and these are restaurants and stuff. So it's just there's not a big need for it, so they just put in whatever. The funny thing is when I get called out to when it does get cold every few, it's different every year. We might have some really cold weather every 5 years, something like that. And when I do get called out, now mind you, we don't do a lot of installs. So when I do get called out and they're like, "Hey, our heater's not working. We've been trying, and nothing ever works." I go up on the roof and there's a new RTU, no heaters whatsoever. There's no electric heat, and it's an electric only RTU. And I have to explain to them whoever installed it didn't put in heaters, or well, so they didn't put in heaters, and we have to quote them just to install heaters. Um, and I get it. Sometimes they don't, especially in the past few years, you might not be able to have the right heat kit for that RTU that they desperately need. And some of these companies just forget to go back and put it in. So I get it. But it's just a funny story when I have to go and tell them, you guys don't have any heaters that were never installed. And they won't know. They might not even know for years because they don't run it until it gets really cold here. What is up, Mick? I saw you pop in on Instagram over here. Instagram, I'm just trying it out. We'll see how it goes. If anybody wants to watch on Instagram, it's open. Sorry, just tuned in for now. I mean, it's probably like, I don't know, what time is it over there? In You're in New Zealand right now, right? I should be going to Minnesota for some RTU training, hopefully sometime this year. That's where the applied RTUs are made. Faribault. Boo? Faribault. Let me go through the chat real quick. Who wants to talk about Veto? So the MB3 with the sling is amazing. I will say that. The I don't know if they watch. I don't think they watch this show. It's whatever. So Veto has a lot of stuff coming out. I already saw what they have for next year's promo, and it's getting better every year. I feel like every year, whether I work with them or I don't, I buy their stuff. So I was always like, every year they make you want to buy something else. So it's always, and spring promotion for anybody that doesn't have Veto or that doesn't know, spring is the time to buy. It just ended. You got to buy it. It's like March, April, May, and you basically buy one get one free. So that's the time to buy. If I'm being honest, if you want the best bang for your buck, wait till spring. If you can't wait, understandably so, bought so much crap from them over the years. So I love their stuff. And I've talked to other testers. I don't know if they give us credit for everything. So I did help with that bag. I can't take full credit because they're gonna say that it was their idea. But I've been rocking all my other bags as slings forever. So I did get to incorporate a buckle. I hope you guys that use the MB3 blackout enjoy that metal buckle, because that's something that I was able to talk them into, and it worked out great. I think it's perfect the way they put the sling, um, and it's comfortable, right? It can hold quite a bit. I think the MB3 is one of those goated bags because it can hold more than you think. It's not the most organized because you don't have all the vertical tool storage, but it gets the job done, right? I think it's a good little bag. What's up, Eddie? So, well, I think I had seen. Hold on. What's up, Rudy? I don't know if I said what's up. My fan is making a winding fan noise. Is it the fan motor going out, or is it something else? If you're talking about at your house, the only other thing you can check is the capacitor. That can cause weird issues with the fan motor. Uh, Other than that, then are you talking of indoor or outdoor? I'm more familiar with condenser motors. I'm not super familiar with indoor blower motors, because if you guys have those ECM motors, I don't really come across those for like split systems. No, you're all good, Brian. I was on the road too when I was texting. Like I had just gotten out of work. Or I don't know, I think I got out of work. Uh-oh. I'll get to the comments real quick. So about what was I talking about earlier? Oh, the other issue with the heating. Um, so basically, like I said, we don't run a lot of heating here. So another issue that we end up having is that the W wire might not always be connected to heating. So they'll steal it a lot for those commons to like the Wi-Fi thermostats, right? Or the fancy display touchscreen ones that need common, or two stage, whatever. There's a lot of them that need a common now. So a lot of the time I see they steal the W for the common, and then again during winter they're like, "Where's the heating?" And I'm like, "Well, they took the wire away." So, uh, fast. Well, where's my FASTSTAT is a wire extender. So, like I said, if you guys don't have enough wires, you can also use something like FASTSTAT. And I'm gonna do a video very soon. If you guys are channel members, you get access to all the videos as I'm done with them or as I'm editing them. And I might put them up for a bit, might take them down to fix some things, put them up until they actually go live for everybody. So, um, I'm working on some videos showing how fast that works, like in real time in video, on some thermostats and stuff. And that's one of the issues that I've seen is like they take the W away, right? So they do that because there's not enough conductors, there's not enough wires. And I basically have to tell them like we need to sacrifice something here, or I need to run new wiring, which I have to schedule because a lot of these are in difficult spots to do in the commercial side. So, and usually everything's working. I just need to run the wire, and I can't shut down a dining room or anything like that. So you can use FASTSTAT to give you some extra wires back. If you need common only, they have a common maker lineup. They have another one that gives you just one extra wire. They have one that gives you two, so on and so forth. So that can get you out of a bind sometimes, because if not, like I said, we typically have to run new wire, and I have to tell them that I have to be back to do that. And yeah, and that happens a lot. And then another instance is where you have old wiring and it breaks, and you gotta you know basically not use a wire that broke and steal another one. So I've seen those instances as well. So again, check out the sponsor for today's live stream, FASTSTAT. If you guys haven't heard of them, they can get you in a bind. It's a receiver and a sender. Basically, you put one at the thermostat, plug it in, hide it in the wall. It's super tiny. And then the other one goes wherever you're feeding it to, receiver and the RTU and the air handler, whatever. And it can communicate and do switching and give you extra wires that way. There's no Wi-Fi, no batteries, none of that stuff. It just, I call it witchcraft. It just works. My Veto hose hauler, that is one of the best little bags that they've made. So it's like super thin, super compact. I did retire my big blue hose. I had bad luck with it. So I have a bunch of 3/8 hoses in there, and a couple of the yellow ones, like 1/4 inch fittings for black 3/8 hoses for vacuum, and then I have some yellow ones for recovery, and they all fit in there perfectly. The blue hose fit in there easily too, but I've had bad luck with the fittings, so they leak on me all the time. I can't pull a vacuum with them, so took them out. I do want to get another larger hose. I don't think I need it. Um, oh really? Let me put that up real quick. What do you call it? So wireless wire. Yeah, people have told me that there's like a couple of different brands. And I mean, anything that can help you guys get out of a bind, because I didn't even know these things existed, to be honest. I kind of learned through FASTSTAT about those, and then I've heard of others since then. So I wish I would have known about that years ago when I was ripping out wire, but especially like during like what do you call that? Rush hours for these restaurants. Anyway, I'm looking for another hose. I just don't know if to go with like a Navac one or whatever. So like there's yeah, the 3/8 gets me where I need to. It pulls a good vacuum with the 3/8 hoses. I use the Milwaukee battery 5 CFM. I also use the Hillmore 2 CFM, and they're both pretty quick. Man, what is up with I don't do residential. I don't deal with the Nest. I think we have a Nest here. I've never had issues with it. But we have an old R22 small system. Nest, I think, has one too. It's called Nest is still crap, says Nasty. Who was this? Smitty over on Instagram. MB3B is a great bag. MB5B is my favorite. Just wait till next year. That's all I'm gonna say about that. MB5B, I gave that to my dad. He loves it, but the thing is, if I give him a bigger bag, he outfits it with too many tools, and then he gets then he complains that it's too heavy. And I keep telling him, you gotta have a like a service bag, like a lighter bag. But I mean, if you any of you guys, I know Brian does. I don't know who else does cooking equipment. They got to carry a lot of crap, so I can't even I can't even tell him anything because he needs all those tools. Super excited for the MCP and the MB3 Blackout. I was very happy when they came out or came to me with the MB3 Blackout. I think we made it as good as it could be. Maybe we'll see some improvements next year, but it's uh it's a good one for sure. Oh, I've heard of this before. Nest is perfect for skeet shooting. Nasty was like, Nest messed up a ton of apartment units. The electric company gave the apartment company rebates on installing them, and they messed everything up big time. I've heard of that. I forgot about that. Um, Dang, that sucks. What's everybody's go-to thermostat then? Like on the commercial side, we go for basics. So I've tried the Emerson ones. Brayburn, I think is what it's called, is one that we use quite a bit. Only because Johnstone, for some reason, that was the only one they carried that had a remote sensor. And in my, in the restaurants I work in, they always want the thermostats in the office. And then we got to figure out a way. Like I know Honeywell has, I think, a wireless solution. They cost a lot. And sometimes the cheapest option, especially like for the local restaurants, was to go with Brayburn and do the wired uh, remote sensor. So I don't know if you guys have any preferences because like we were using Brayburn for a while. Like I said, we've done the Emerson ones, which was like the Sensi thermostats. Those were okay. Robert Shaw, but I don't think I liked them. I thought I would. Uh, I went. They have a new style that looks pretty good, but I think we had some issues with them. And then because I think I've changed out a couple that I put in. And then what was the other one? Oh, we're trying out Pro 1 or whatever it's called again and seeing if those will last, because the thing is the ones that are like, the reason they want them in the office is so that they last. But the thing is the Honeywells, somebody remodeled one of the restaurants and they put in the Honeywells. I don't know which ones they were. They were Pro something. And they had wireless sensors. That's why they did that. I replaced I don't think I replaced all three. I replaced two of them right away. One of them blank screen, and the other one, what did the other one do? The other one just wouldn't switch anymore. So one of them like shorted out, and the other one wouldn't call for cooling or anything. So we tore them out and put like simple. I think there were Brayburn ones that I put in. So that was my only thing is I saw two new Honeywells just die instantly. So I don't know. I don't. Maybe they weren't the 8,000 series, so maybe I'll look into those. So that's Honeywell 9,000. Yeah. So we're starting to use the Pro One, Victor. I see that this is the thing. The reason that they put them in the office is because I think they want them to last longer. Because the ones that I see, if they're mounted in the throughout the restaurant, like in the dining, by the register, and then one maybe in the kitchen, or two. Sometimes I have two in the back. All the people that work there, all the cooks, all the people in the back are messing with it constantly, right? So I've seen a lot of them where the display go like cracks, they hit it, the buttons get all messed up. So then I think that's why they want them in the office now. So we need to have a sensor. So that's my only thing. Like whenever I go to Johnstone, I guess they cater more to residential, right? Which understandably a lot of places do around here at least, and they don't have too many offerings with sensors. So I might have to like order some of a certain brand and just have them in stock when I need them. Yeah, Honeywell 9,000. I've got a lot of that answer in the chat. Honeywell 8,000. Let's see. 8,000. Alfredo, have you heard ChatGPT can now answer your calls after hours? Yes, and if you want to use the link in my description, you can use CallRail or Jobber. They both offer AI voice assistance if you guys can't answer the phone. So thank you for that little plugin. Reliable. They just made me an assistant supervisor at my district. Any tips? Thanks in advance. Go to is the Honeywell Pro. Assistant supervisor at my district. I mean, just take. I don't know what exactly do you guys do? Honestly, with anything, usually that I hear the same thing because we do the Reliable Trades podcast, and at the end of the podcast, we talk a lot about what to do better, day to day, no matter what you do, and at the end we'll give a little like tidbit on advice, and most of the time it's just be better every day. And I was just talking today with somebody about the new technology now. The kids nowadays, what's the first thing everybody does now is go to YouTube to look up something, right? So learn some things after hours that kind of pertain to what you do. Again, I don't know exactly what you're doing. If you're in HVAC and something residential, commercial, I'm not sure what you do, but be better every day and learn more after hours, and then just apply that if you're if you're a supervisor, you're in charge. Because I'm trying to be that kind of person now when I have these new guys that are coming in right now. Because we just, we're hiring this year, and let them learn, let them make their mistakes. I know we're in a rush a lot, but that's the only way they're going to pick up and kind of do their own calls. The school's HVAC department, you're going to be putting out fires left and right. Uh, I have some buddies that worked in the school. We used to do school work too, and just take your time, because especially with school, that's a lot of bigger equipment. At least what I'm used to. So I remember going in there like, holy crap, the walk-in freezers, the big sliding doors, multi evaporator circuits in there, and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, because I got thrown into it, and I did have somebody helping me because I was way in the beginning, and someone had to pull me aside and calm me down, because they're like, hey, this is just refrigeration. Like, whether it's the AC unit or the rack system or whatever they have there, this is just refrigeration. Calm down, think about it, and be confident in what you're doing. And I always say, be confident but not cocky, right? So we learn continuously in this trade. So and I've been humbled a few times too, and in the work that I do. I'm not always right. I don't know everything. So I've just because I had this conversation earlier. I just learned to slow down. Yeah, the benefits, right, Jason? Just slow down and kind of learn as much as you can off the clock, and then apply it if you're training or in charge of people, and tell them the same thing. Because like my guys, I know when they're burnt out. I know when they're running too quick, and I got to tell them to slow down and all that. So you know, it's all the same. It's just and then like, because if you're in charge of people, and I'm just gonna focus on that really quick. If you're in charge of people, like what I've always said, because people ask me about my dad and stuff, or running a business, or having employees, like check in on them, make sure that they're appreciated, stuff like that. What do they need? What do they need help with? What are their what areas do they need help in to learn more, to train? Be patient with them, and it. And I understandably so. Like, I know that I can do it quicker, but if I let them do it with my guidance and they figure it out, for a few calls here and there, and then hey, they can do their own stuff. I don't have to worry about it. So just slow down, um, take it in, soak it in. Joe, what would you say is a tool that you really don't think of or think you did need, but it has come in clutch? There's a few. So like there's a few tools that the one that always comes to mind is the electrician's ratchet. You can get the Klein one, you can get the Milwaukee one. There's good and bad with both. So I had the Klein one forever, and I use it so much to take out weird screws and weird areas. And you can throw any of your 1/4 inch bits in there if you need a socket, or because it does come, they do come with socket adapters, and then like the Phillips and the flats and all that. So by far one of the best tools. I use it all the time. I switched to the Milwaukee one because it has a carabiner on it. The only thing with that one is if you're having to torque down kind of hard, it doesn't feel as good because you got that carabiner that digs into your hand. So, um, yeah, I don't know which one I like better. I like the carabiner, but like it doesn't feel great if you're having a hard time wrenching down something. So that's one that I've really loved. And then also, I didn't have a right angle drill adapter for a long time. So I finally got one a few years ago, and I use it so much. Again, just because of the weird placement of screws that I deal with on different kinds of equipment that I see. And it's more so on the refrigeration side because I don't see that, you know, or I see it more with these little screws everywhere. And even like those two tools have helped me take apart a lot of RTUs when you got to completely disassemble them. Because like on Carrier, they hide some of the screws and stuff, and they're hard to get to. So definitely that for sure. Yeah, you like the Klein better? I just like that I can store the Milwaukee one on a D ring. What was the other right angle? And then like for safety, it's been like the I have a lockjaw ladder grip, but it's because all the places that I go to have a gutter, so this clamps your ladder to the gutter, and it's something that I have that I don't want to be without now because I've been stranded on a roof before. So having a lockjaw ladder grip instead of a bungee, because sometimes I don't even I lose the bungees all the time. So that's been a good one too. I think that's it. Everything else is pretty standard in my tool bag. I did make not too long ago, so I bought like I think they're subcode jumpers, the alligator clips that have the magnet also, so you can put them magnetically or clip them on. Because I don't like the ones that are just magnet. So I got those. I bought two. I cut them, so now I have four individual ones, right? And I used a Wago clip to there's a Wago one that takes like five, and I put them in there so I can have, you know, the power, and then I can use the other ones to hook up single and second stage, and if I have to energize the blower motor, I can. But on the Wago clip, you can take out, like if you only need two leads, okay, and if you need four leads, you can put that in there. So that little jumper that I made, and you can use a wire nut, it's the same thing, but I like the Wago clip. That has been really beneficial to me. I have a Jumper King. I just don't use it that often. I haven't used it this year. I used it I think last year. But having those little jumpers in there, the makeshift several leads together, that's been really clutch for me too. Because again, I deal with multiple stages and I got to run them, you know, if I have a short or something like that. Froggy says a 90 degree angle grinder, hex, quarter hex drive. Let's see. Thoughts on. Oh, I completely missed. I was gonna go back to the comments earlier. Hold on. Where were they? Here we go. Bro, my JB probes. They seem like such a good buy due to the innovative display, built-in charging port. I saw your review on them, and I shit you not, a few weeks later, I found cracks on mine. uh, oh man, the high side cracked in half and is completely unusable. So here's the thing. They are great. They are good probes. I am just so annoyed at the material that they used, the build quality on them, right? So, had they used anything else or a tougher plastic, a tougher molding, um, I don't know what Navac used because Navac has a pretty good one too. I just don't know if they ever updated. I don't think they promised me a test sample once they fixed all the bugs. That was like what, a month ago, 2 months ago. I don't even know how long it's been now. I don't think they're going to get back to me. I don't think they like the videos that I put out calling them out. Even though they sent me, maybe on HVAC nights, if you guys go over on HVAC nights, I'll pull up the letter because I was waiting for them to send them out and they never did. So let's, I'll pull up the letter. They promised a lot of things. So the one thing I will give them is they built them pretty nice. It felt like an aluminum body mixed in with like rubber and like a rubber molding and stuff. Those felt durable. The JBs, I just wish they would have, or maybe just improve them if they've already gotten so many complaints. Because the reason I tested them is because people were asking for them or asking me about them, and then some people were sending us photos. And again, on HVAC nights, that's kind of where I go through the emails and all that. And people were sending me photos of how badly they broke. And I was like, all right, I got some finally. I got a hold of some. And my thing is, I'm not gonna baby them. I didn't drop them. I don't think I ever dropped them. I think I dropped them maybe twice from like waist height, but or maybe even less, maybe like at my knee or something. But I never dropped them badly. And they are cracked. I have tape all over them just to make sure they work. I still do use them because, like I said, I do like them. They are good. They're just built terribly. And yeah, I mean they're good for my. I have a tool pouch, the MPMX that I use quite a bit when I go back for like a follow up or I know I got to change like a thermostat or something, and that's where I have those probes in. And every now and then I got to check pressures really quick just to make sure we're good. And yeah, man, it's such a shame. I mean, you should reach out to them. I know they do cover them. If from everybody that I've heard, they get a replacement, but unfortunate. What are your thoughts on wireless clamp meters? Do you see them as a must-have? Only for a few different reasons. If you're checking like blower motors or compressors and you're doing like inrush or you need to know the running load amps, I like on residential, I see more people using them like when they got to check the indoor blower motor and you're checking amperage that way. You cannot have the panel off, so you would need a wireless clamp meter. And for me, it's when I'm checking an RTU. So wireless probes are a must for me. I can use a manifold. I've done it, forever like that. But I would prefer to have. I work on two-stage equipment a lot, so I would rather have two sets of probes so I can close the panel and check pressures. Same thing if you're going to be checking current amperage on any of these. So do I use that function often? Not really. I've only used it a handful of times. So it depends on what you do. The only reason you would need wireless function on any meter is for the amp draw, if you need the panel back on, or if you need to use the temperature. But the temperature, I don't think they work. Like, I have field piece. I don't think they work the best. I've already switched over to using only my psychrometers. Like, even if I'm checking like a reach-in cooler, walk-in box, I'll use a psychrometer to check my temperature, and then you get more data. You get dry bulb, wet bulb, humidity, all that kind of stuff. So that's why, like, I'll do some follow-ups, but that's why you've been, if you watch any of my recent videos, I have not been using the field piece. I've been using the Milwaukee HVAC meter, and I've been using this like TikTok meter, and they both kind of do the same exact thing, and they don't have wireless function. They don't even, I just realized that they don't even have DC voltage readings on them. So those are going to be like when I'm checking contactors, checking something simple, and 90% of the time I can get away with that. So, like, personally, I don't use them that much. I will say, if you're in the market to buy one and you're going to buy, like, if you're on like True Tech Tools or wherever and you have the option, I would always buy the wireless one if you're already looking at like SC460 or SC480, whatever the numbers are. There's one wireless and there's one not. Usually the price difference is not big, but if they're close in price, just get the wireless. But if you're looking at another brand, I don't think it's that much of a necessity. It depends on what you like do on your day to day. With that being said, like I said, I use a Milwaukee, but I have my field piece SC680, like the biggest one they make that does everything, as a backup meter in my install bag. Oh, that's what I forgot to mention. That mini ratchet, that electrician ratchet, the best thing that I use it for is to take off set screws. So I use that all the time on blower wheels, fan blades on like walk-in boxes and stuff like that. Like, that is one of my favorite parts, is using it with the Allen set, because it takes 1/4 inch bits. What is up, Jake? They they ain't no good. No, I'm just keeping it real. Where was I? Inflation. Keep it $1.75 now. Let me see. You might laugh, but I'm using the Elitech DMG-10. Is that the little mini one when I'm working on reach-ins and small stuff? If that is the little mini one with the little display, I will recommend that 9 out of 10 times over most of the other digital manifolds. I would recommend those over the damn Navax that are out right now that everybody's like drooling over. I do have that one. The Elitech, we got them at AHR. If you guys go to AHR, they give out a ton of shit. They gave them out. I gave one to my dad, I think, and I kept the other one as like a backup. And that one is, I will recommend that one. So Elitech does I don't know if I can show it. Elitech does a digital one that is like, it kind of looks like the, if you guys are familiar with Testo makes like a screenless one, and it is like super mini. It's just the hoses and like this little manifold piece. Elitech makes the same exact one, but it has a screen on it. So like, they are tiny, and it has all your refrigerants that you would need. It's digital. I believe there's a backlight on it. I don't think correct me if I'm wrong, Brian. I don't know if it does any clamp readings. I don't remember if it has any plugins for the clamp readings, but I love my S-mans because they connect to my scale, they connect to my micron gauge. You know, that's the reason, and then they're wireless if I want to get off the rooftop. So that's why I like my S-mans. They're not necessary. There's plenty of other digital manifolds that are. Oh, okay, yeah, NorCal Dave. There's plenty of other digital manifolds that do the trick. A manifold. Well, I just did, Jason. Anyone else ditch using a manifold altogether? I have an analog set sitting in my truck. Never use them. Analog stubbies or probes. This year, I've tried to make it a point to not use a manifold for anything. So I got probes. I got a backup set with the JBs, even though I'm still having issues with. Oh, it does connect to the phone. Even better. So even though I'm having issues with Measure Quick. I still don't like using it. I still can't get them. I don't know what it is on my end. I cannot get my Measure Quick to connect to two different brands. And that is the whole point of it. So I can't figure it out. I finally figured out how to do two stage. It wasn't super intuitive. It's like you got to click the icon that doesn't say anything to change it to multiple stages, which I figured out. But first stage and second stage, no matter what, even though it says that everything's mapped correctly, will always give me the same readings on 1 and 2. I have to use two different apps to check multiple stages. And that's because I don't have two sets of field piece. I gave my field piece backup set away. I should have kept it. I gave it away to one of the guys, and I have the JBs, so I cannot use the same app. I cannot use Measure Quick. Just cannot get it to work. But yes, I have my S-mans that have been sitting there like for months already. Your your apprentice is not appreciative, but they do connect to the app. I mean that they're already above and beyond there from Navex. Navac doesn't give you clamp readings and doesn't give you any app support. Don't see the point in them, personally. Still with analogs, you bought stubbies. That's perfectly fine. I have stubbies too. Um, if you have any stubbies and the full display, is it? Now I'm gonna have to look it up. LE Tech. Oh, they have like 3 different models. All right, so there is. We had to. Oh, I don't want to go to Amazon. Let's pull it up real quick. Manifold gauges. All right, let's see if I can share the screen. There we go. Okay, so I think Brian is talking about the 10s. No, that's No, that's LMG. $4B. So these are the different models they have. DMG 4B. DMG. Is it this one? There you go. Yeah, these are the ones that we're talking about. Super small and compact. The DMG 4B. All you would ever need in a digital manifold, and it is like way cheaper than the others. And you get free hoses if you go to their website. These are the ones that I have, and Brian I think has, and these are just they're what you would need if you're going to digital. Um, they also have these that if you want the clamp support. I don't know why they're a little bit cheaper, but those are up there too. Oh, they're on sale. Then they have the fancy ones that have, I think, the micron gauge and everything built in. So, I mean, you can go with another brand, Elitech. I know I've talked to some guys. They're just as good as a lot of others. I just don't like the color on them, to be honest. Let's go to. If you notice, their leak detectors look like another brand that I support that I like, and we have these too. Some of our guys have these Elitech infrared leak detectors. And the charging scale looks a lot like this one. Looks on the end looks like field pieces. These over here kind of look like the Hillmore ones as well. Like they're all kind of similar to other brands. So Elitech is people might give you crap because of the way they look, but they're pretty good for affordability. Yeah, NorCal Dave had the Elitechs before switching to Navac. If you're switching to Navac, the color screen, whatever, you're buying it for the look, basically. You're buying it. To me, it's eye candy. I would never buy them. I'd rather buy the Elitech. Elitech is like half the price of those Navac. The Navacs are like $300, I believe. So again, if you have the money, you want to buy it. It's kind of the same thing that I say with the Milwaukee meter, Milwaukee HVAC meter, and I'm not I'm using it because it's nice to use. It's pretty durable and it looks nice. Like it's been fun to use the Milwaukee meter. It's not the best one. It doesn't do everything, but I don't use all those other functions. So the same thing with the Navac. I think it's just eye candy. But if you like it, you like it. Or if you got it for free, there's that too. Right now the Navac is 241. So plus tax, that's gonna be close to $300. Oh yeah, they have several models now. So they have one. I don't think I tried that one. It's infrared and heated diode, and that's Elitech. All right, guys. I'm gonna close it out here. Yes, they do. Jumper King. If they ever made like something that did higher voltage, because same thing. I deal with a lot of I deal with a lot that would be. I mean, people would need to know how to use it, but because then they're gonna be blowing everything out. But that would be cool, because like I don't see enough 24 volts myself either. I'm doing more like walk-in refrigeration stuff. So yeah, that would be cool. I'm gonna close out the show. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If anybody was on Instagram, I appreciate you guys for catching it. Um, we got one more that came in through Instagram. Zach, what do you recommend is the best way to work towards your own single truck company? Are you working somewhere? I just don't want you guys to jump into it too soon, but it is it is worth it. So you just have to, what I would say is, have some money put aside, have some good credit, something in line, because you're going to need to spend some money. If you do residential, you might be able to get paid on the job. We are commercial, it's 30-day net at least, all that kind of stuff. So be prepared is the best thing I can tell you. And you don't need a new truck. It doesn't have to be new. I mean, some people take advantage of like a leasing and things like that. I always say just, have an old pickup truck. We still buy used vans because we can buy them cash. And just don't go overboard. And we use a lot of used tools and equipment. You do residential, yeah. And hustle. So you get out there, and I heard a good quote, or like a little speech not too long ago. And they said, why are you complaining that you don't get anybody when you went and left 100 cards? Why didn't you leave 1,000, 10,000 cards? Like, you have to hustle to see any, to see any benefit from it. So we did the same thing. We went to everybody. We went around, you shopped ourselves around, try to help, some customers here and there, and then kind of build it up from there. So just put in the work, be prepared, whether it's, having money set aside, slowly building up, whatever tools that you need. And you don't have to buy anything new when you start. You get all that later on. I had hand-me-down recovery machines. I had old-ass vacuum pumps that I used. Um, and I used analogs forever. And like, I had an old Astro van. So I started from nothing, and I made it work. I was confident in my skills to get me through, um, the job itself, and then reputation. Honestly, when you start, and a majority of the time, word of mouth is the best advertising versus, I mean, other than you going around and introducing yourself and trying to get into your foot in the door, word of mouth, once you start getting the work, and then some lettering on the van, or get a wrap if you can afford it. Just look professional, and that goes for you as well. Have nice uniforms, eye-catching, clean. No white uniforms around here. We actually do some work, and yeah, that's about it, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I just kind of wanted to squeeze in that last comment right there. I appreciate you, Zach, and stay tuned. I'm gonna have some more videos for training, and I'll try and do some more business related content very soon. Thanks again to FASTSTAT for sponsoring the live stream. You're going to see them a little bit more. I'll do some videos on how to use them. I'll also do some videos on low voltage issues, thermostat issues related to, using something like FASTSTAT to help you out there. Stay tuned for all that. Check out all the merch. Again, appreciate you guys. Have a good and safe week at work, this week. And I'll see you guys later, Mick. Later, Vic. I'm going to close it out.